Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Right or Die Show. I'm your host, Randi-lee. On today's episode, I'm going to be talking to Anna Lennyr. And remember to hit that like and subscribe button before we get to the episode so that you never, ever miss an episode. So we have a sponsor for today's episode. It is Taylor Smith Design. And I have been using the services for, I guess, almost over a year now. I use the do-it-yourself services, and it makes posting on my social media so much easier. Seriously. They have a user-friendly platform where I can schedule all of my posts for the whole year on multiple social sites at the same time. The best part about that is that I can create recurring posts, so I don't have to constantly redo the same thing, which works great when promoting my books. Plus, if you run multiple businesses like I do, since I'm my kid's momager, you can hook it up to multiple accounts. One price for all of your needs, and it saves me so much time. Depending on the level that you sign up for, it can do so much more than just that. I'm still trying to figure out some of the features that it offers. If you need an affordable solution for your social media needs, then go to getseensocial.ca, use code Right or Die to get your first month totally free. All right. Who doesn't like free? Remember, you want to go to getseensocial.ca and use the code Right or Die. Get that first month free. Welcome, Anna, to the Right or Die Show. Excited to have you.
Thank you, Randy. Thank you for inviting me.
So let's talk about who Anna is.
So I'm a life strategist and an antidepressant expert. This is what I do. I get people out of a holes of depression. And I know most people believe that that's impossible, right? Because the last 20 years, we've been told that it's a mental illness and you can't snap out of it. And you got to do these things and the other things, but don't expect results. But it is very possible. And thank you for bringing this awareness and bringing me on the show to talk about it, Randy.
Okay, so that's what you do, but who are you?
I am a suicidal girl.
Okay.
At the age of 19 and a half, I took 41 sleeping pills. I was depressed into the age of 7. I started
Wow.
psychology to try to fix myself after my suicidal attempt, as my mother was an alcoholic and I was abandoned by my father. And after I finished University of Psychology, I realized that there are no solutions there. So I embarked in life as a depressed adult. Then I embarked in life as a depressed parent with a child in depression at the age of 8. Until the age of 38, when I realized that I have to change this, because when you are suicidal, your child has 90% chances of being suicidal also. And this is the only thing that I didn't want for my son. I succeeded to get out of depression in 7 months. I succeeded to get him out of depression 9 months. And now I teach parents and adults how to overcome this mess, because it's a mess that
It is a mess.
Sometimes for generations. It destroys your life sometimes for generations.
Yeah.
So what I teach today.
Okay. So do you only have the one child?
I do only have one child. I'm thinking about a lot more now, but I see how easy it is to raise children when they're not depressed. It's very hard to raise children when they're angry, when they're anxious, when they're depressed. And it's so easy to raise them when they're happy.
Yeah. That actually, so my child has been depressed. My child has tried to die by suicide. And so, yeah, actually, now that things are a lot better, it is a lot easier to be a parent.
It's true. It's like, oh, I could have another 20 more children. I'm good now.
Well, maybe not that many, but yeah, exactly. It's so strange how, like, for so many years, right, we're muddling through this, being a parent of a kid with depression. I mean, I was a kid with depression too, very similar to your story. And as a parent, I'm like, wow, no wonder my mom struggled so much with me. I understand what my kid's going through, and I'm still struggling to try and help him. So, yeah.
Depression is a generational condition, but it's not a genetic condition. And everybody is asking me, what is the difference? The difference is that you can stop it. Any generation can stop it. Even if you're wired into that way, any generation can say stop to it. But you see, nobody told us that we can do this. Nobody showed us how we can do this. And this is why, our struggles are just, results for somebody else to follow in a certain way, because this is the truth. Now that we know how, you can put it in a formula and you can teach it. Yeah. But if you never struggled with it, I have people that go into therapists that are depressed themselves. Most of our clients are actually nurses. And they're like, nobody told me. I'm like, I know, you just asked advice from depressed people. How would they know how to help you?
That's
if you think
true.
Right? So here, when you ask advice, you need to ask advice from somebody that has been through that journey or somebody that has never been depressed. And it's very hard to find categories of people that's never been depressed.
Yeah, it's true. It's very true. Okay, so you said you've been depressed. You were depressed as young as 7.
Yes.
So how did you know you were depressed at 7, or you just felt like, looking back, you're like, okay, I know I was depressed?
So you ignore, depending on what kind of energy you are, there are 4 types of men and 4 types of women in the world. Some of them, they know they're depressed, and some of them, they ignore it. And why they ignore it? They ignore it because they have the idea that they have to fight with life. They're having that warrior perception that life is hard and I have to fight with it. And you usually fight with life until something happens. Some kind of event or a series of events triggers you to realize that I have been defeated by life. In my case, I was one of those energies that are warrior-like. So just fight, just find another way, just fight. You can ignore this depression thing. It's just forget about it. It's just, just keep going, right? So until the age of 38, I was diagnosed with the same disease that my mom died from overnight at the age of 55, except that I was 38.
Oh my.
And I had, an 8.5-year-old kid at home. And I said, whoa, this doesn't work. This fighting thing does not work. This is the truth. People happy are people healthy. People who are in emotional wounding, that's how I call depression, deep, heavy, and unresolved emotional wounding. Their illnesses that come from that. Their health problems that get triggered from that. So practically you tell me what it hurts and I tell you what problem you have, emotional problem you have, because it puts so much pressure on everything that it changes the body.
Yeah.
It's unimaginable. It changes the body. In my case, I had insomnia for 2.5 years, migraines, headaches, fibromyalgia, back pain, hernias of disc, S-shaped scoliosis, overweight, liver problems, pre-NASH, non-alcoholic liver hepatitis. So the amount of illnesses that came towards me by the age of 38, they were unreasonable for that age. Yeah. Right? The age of 38, you start accumulating all of this and you're like, whoa, just happened. I'm not 83, I'm 38. Yeah. Right? I feel like I'm 83, but I'm still 38, right? So it's when I had that awakening moment that, whoa, this is not normal. And what most people do at that time is like they're going towards doctors, right? It's like, go and fix me. Well, pre-diabetes gets to diabetes, gets to insulin, never gets fixed. Pre-NASH goes to cirrhosis at some point. Okay, it's pre-hepatitis. I mean, what's next step, right? So I said, these doctors don't know how to fix me. they they only know how to keep me alive with meds, but they don't know how to fix me. What can I do to fix me, right?
Mhm.
I went and I reversed engineer what can happen. And this is how I got to the fact that, oh, first of all, I should admit I'm depressed. That's the first thing I should admit, right?
Yes.
From here, take ways to not go down meds and medical intervention and things like that. So at the age of 14, I had an S-shaped scoliosis that couldn't let me sit down on the school chair. I couldn't sit down for an year. I had to write on my lap, standing in the back of a classroom because I couldn't sit because of pain. And at the age of 41, I was climbing a mountain in Capri by myself.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
This is what's possible when you let go of that emotional pain that keeps your body in just a tied up thing, like a stranded thing, like in a cage.
Yeah. And it's been researched a lot more lately that your mental state plays a factor in your body. I've read multiple books on it. My favorite's probably, what was it called? Your Body Speaks Your Mind. I don't remember who wrote it. But that book really, like, it broke it down. Like, you're having this issue, could be because your mental state is this. Like, obviously, it could be multiple things, but I mean, so many people are starting to realize that connection between our mental and our physical.
Yeah, but it's a little bit more than that, Randy. If I can add up to that, your emotional state is the one that dictates the mental. It's the one that dictates the physical. So here we're concentrating on fixing the emotional part, because once you go to the root, that's it. Everything that's bad breaks down. Everybody says, change your mindset, think positive. You cannot if there is pain inside you.
Yeah.
If there is emotional pain, that's ridiculous to go and start fighting a negative thought with a positive one. Your mind is not going to believe you. What are you talking about?
I know.
To me, right? It's
my
not...
mom, when I was younger, my mom always used to say, oh, just fake it till you make it. It doesn't work. I can't just tell my brain and pretend that I'm happy. Like that doesn't work. There's underlying emotional, like I said, emotional issues that are happening. I can't just trick my brain. But my whole childhood, just fake it till you make it.
No, it doesn't work like that. So what most people don't know, that emotional pain is removable. Emotional pain is like garbage, but there's specific strategies and techniques to let it go, to let the garbage out. And then you can easily change your mindset and believe different things because the pain is gone. So most people, when they get to the emotional pain, they think that the only way to get rid of it is to kill themselves, right? So we were never taught that emotional pain can be removed with specific techniques and strategies. And you will be surprised who knows these strategies and techniques. It's actually the Shaolin monks and the Himalayan yogi masters, categories of people who have never been depressed.
Okay, well, that kind of makes sense.
Exactly.
Why haven't you been depressed? Well, because you know all this.
Exactly. So these are the categories of people that I actually reached to ask for strategies and techniques. And I have found some of them because of my back problems. I have tremendous back problems. I cannot do yoga or Shaolin exercises or something like that. I have found people with no physical exercise that can teach me those techniques. And this is what I teach. Okay. Techniques to remove pain, emotional pain. And then your mindset is easy to reset. And then your life is easy to reset. You're just pressing a reset button and you can change it the way you want to, not the way, how should I say, you've been programmed, like you were playing the game of suffering. now you can play a game of your life.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, you talked about, your early days when you were first thought about it. So as you went along in your journey, how did you kind of decide that enough was enough, and what did you do from there?
I almost died at the age of 38. All right. So my son was carrying me from the couch to the bathroom because I could barely walk. I almost died. I found out I have the same disease. My mom died from overnight. Like really? I'm just gonna go to the hospital in the morning and by evening I'm gonna be dead. That's not a good idea, right? So it had to be so much suffering that it clicked that there is something that I need to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, okay, my mom, maybe she didn't have a choice. She was 55. But guess what? I'm 38. I still have time to fix this, right? And this is what I did. I looked for mentors who would take me in, categories of people that have never been depressed. And I didn't trust one mentor. At that time, I thought was like, listen, my depression is too bad for everybody to fix it. I actually hired four.
Okay.
And I followed 4 different programs. And at that time, they did not promise me that they overcome depression for me because there was nobody that called themselves an antidepressant expert, right? So I followed 4 different programs. Some of them overlap. And everything that it worked, I use it over and over again. And this is what I teach, like 4 programs into one with everything that it's truly working. In 7 months, nobody recognized me anymore. I lost 85 pounds without doing nothing. My back problems were gone. I was climbing mountains in like cowboy boots with high heels. Everybody was looking at me. He's like, what are you doing? You're going to die there. I'm like,
yeah, that doesn't sound like a climbing shoe.
Exactly. And nobody, how should I say? Nobody recognized me. Not even my boss that I was working for 17 years. He didn't recognize me. The face change, the energy change. I was like glowing from the inside.
Wow.
I had to tell people who I am, and they're like, "No, you're not her. Like, what are you talking about? Are you her sister?" I'm like, "No, it's me. I don't have a sister."
Wow.
Right? Things like this that when you feel that, how should I say, when you let go of that weight of the world from your shoulders, you can bloom from inside.
Yeah.
And when I realized that, I did it, a couple of years, I didn't want to hear anything about people depressed. Trust me.
Yeah.
But you should do it. You should do it. Even my mentor said, you should do it. I'm like, why me? Why do you pick me? I'm so happy I'm out. Why me? Because you've been through it at all of the stages and you understand all of the stages.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So at one point you said that you took, what was it, like 40 something sleeping pills? Tell me a little bit, like, take me through the story. What happened?
My mom was an alcoholic and I was trying to be the best in school, the best at university, the best, hoping that somehow I'm going to save her.
I think that's common amongst kids with parents like that.
About 90% of the girls with mothers with problems, they take their mother's pain in the idea that they can save them. Only about 50% of the boys take their mother's pain, depending on what energy they're in. And I was just, trying to save her so bad. And I was studying so much that I didn't even sleep for 2.5 years of my life. So all I wanted was to sleep. And when I saw that I cannot change her from being an alcoholic, I felt defeated, right? Yeah. At that time, I felt defeated. I felt that I failed, right? I failed her. I failed me. And, I say today is like, it was not only that event that brought me to the University of Psychology to see that there are no solutions there. It was the fact that I continued to try to save her until she died overnight. And I said, this was the best wake up call I could have had, because 12 years after, I was the one sick of the same disease, and I wasn't even drinking, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's when I realized that the message that she was always trying to tell me is like, just because I cannot overcome this, I cannot overcome this depression, this alcoholism, these problems that I have, it doesn't mean that you can't.
Yeah.
And that was my wake up call when I realized that, okay, she didn't have a support. She didn't have mentorship. She didn't have guidance. She didn't know this is possible. Okay. But now I have to find a way. And in all this journey, Randy, I have to be honest with you. I have learned everything that doesn't work. And most clients that come to me, even nurses, they know everything that doesn't work because they already tried it.
Yeah.
This doesn't work. This doesn't work. So when they come to me, they come empty minded.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't have no clue what you're doing. I don't care. I tried everything. It doesn't work. Whatever you tell me to do, I'm going to do it. And this is exactly how everything works. Because I tell people all the time, all you know about depression is how to suffer.
Yeah.
If you know anything about depression, you know very well the game of suffering. You have no clue the game out of suffering. You have no clue how to live happy, which is a total different game.
Mm-hmm.
You have no, all you know is everything about suffering. Anybody that tells me, I know about depression, you know how to suffer.
Yeah. Yeah. I've never thought about it that way, but that's, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. You know very well how to suffer. You know very well how to smile when you're sad. You know very well how to hide it. You know very well now all these things. You have resilience and adaptive mechanisms. Okay. But it doesn't help you get over it. It doesn't help you change your life. Press that reset button and you deserve to change your life and be happy.
Yeah.
We're being programmed to just go to therapy, take meds, and don't have expectations like this, because we've been programmed to always, how should I say, ask for others to help us and expect others to help us. And I tell people all the time, I teach how you can master your own game of life.
Okay.
You cannot play somebody else's game of life. You're disposable when you do.
Yeah.
And you cannot depend on people. I have a lot of customers. So, women and men is like, she doesn't help me. He doesn't help me. That's not their job as partners to help you. You have to dictate your life. You have to change your life by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You have to want to do it. Yeah, maybe you need the right guidance. Okay, fine. No problem. We'll give you the right guidance. But you have to make that decision, not to live with crutches over and over and over again, because the crutches break and you end up back in a ditch.
Yeah. Okay, so let's switch gears and talk about being a parent now, just because it's so important and it hits home because I'm a parent of a kid with depression. So I just feel like it's something that needs to be talked about.
So yeah.
How old is your kid right now?
Mine is 14 and a half.
Oh my goodness. So mine's 15 and a half.
So Maya overcame depression long time ago and doesn't understand depression anymore.
Excellent. So when did he first? It's a him, right?
Yeah, it's a him. Yeah, it's a him with a female energy. Actually, it's a female. Yeah, but it's a him.
All right. So when did you, as the parent, figure out that he was depressed?
I figured out about 8.5 when he was 8.5. When I saw him sad, I saw his sad smile exactly like I saw my sad smile at the age of 7.
Okay.
very easy to identify. It's a sad smile that turns after that into a little bit of anger. And then after they're angry and anxious, they go withdrawn into themselves because they see that nothing works. It's a process.
Yeah.
That's the most dangerous part. So I always tell people when they're angry and anxious, we should intervene. We should use that fire to propel them out of depression.
Yeah.
When they're withdrawn, you don't know how they think, what they could be 40 seconds away from killing themselves. That's the most dangerous part, because they don't trust you anymore that you can help them as a parent or as a mentor, right?
Mm-hmm.
They surrendered already, and they could be that close, you know. So he was out of depression for a long time. And the way that I actually, this is the way I teach when I get people out of depression, kids. My client is 6 years old. Okay.
Okay, hold on. So this is so important for people to realize that it doesn't matter how old you are, depression can hit anybody. Because I used to have people when I would be like, oh, I gotta go to the hospital. My kid tried to kill himself, and so I gotta go. And people would say, oh, your kid's only 9. What do they have to be depressed about? Well, you know what? Shut the right? Exactly. Like, it would make me so upset because it doesn't matter how old they are. Just you cannot take your life and go, well, my life, because I have to pay bills and I have to go to work, so my life is hard. You're just a kid. All you have to do is go to school. You can't do that. You cannot make those comparisons. So I thought it was really important, especially since you said 6, right? Like, do not assume because they are a child that they can't be depressed, because that is why children end up dying by suicide, because we are ignoring it because, they're just kids. They have nothing to be depressed about. It's not true. And we need to open our eyes as parents, as teachers, and just as adults in general. So exactly. There's my little rant.
Right. You're totally right. Do not assume that the child doesn't feel emotional pain. More than that, a child will be confused of why they feel emotional pain. Because if it comes from generations, it's not even theirs, right? It's coming from generations, like it happened to me. Why do I feel this? Why do I have to deal with this? What is this? They're more and more confused.
Yeah.
I keep telling them they're exponentially in pain because of their confusion.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the younger they are, the more they'll be confused because they haven't had the life experience to identify these different emotions, or to then build the coping skills to deal with those emotions. But like, so for my kid, one of the hardest things was identifying emotions. So imagine a small child, and imagine yourself as a small child, and you're angry. Like you said, that was a big one. Angry, withdrawn. You're feeling all of these things, but you don't actually know what they are as a kid. And if you don't know what they are as a kid, you can't even ask for help because you don't even know what it is that you're asking.
Exactly. So the only thing a child wants is to be happy.
Yes.
They don't want video games. They don't want to be disrespectful. They don't want to be angry. They want to be happy. And this is the first thing that I teach parents, is skills of life, to give the child the shortcuts of being happy. I'm not joking. Shortcuts, secrets. It takes sometimes 6 weeks to teach the kid, the parent. Okay, we have, of course, 3.5 hours. 3.5 hours takes them 6 weeks to get it. I'm like, how is that possible? It's 3 hours.
Because it's a whole new thing they got to rewire in their brain.
Exactly. I have to watch this video over and over again. It's like a 3-minute video. How much information can I give you in 3 minutes?
It's a whole rewiring.
And then it takes 5 minutes to explain it to a kid. 5 minutes and it's game over.
Yeah.
They're happy. Okay. My child identifies depressed people all over he goes. We're driving with a car. It's like, oh, that guy is depressed. I'm looking in the mirror. Yeah, you're right. How did you figure that out? identifies depressed music on radio. She just turns off the music. I'm like, it's music. Why did you turn it off? It was not even a commercial. Oh, mom, this is a depressing song. I didn't even realize it.
Yeah, I'm the same. I'm just like, I'll just be like jamming along. And my husband will look at me and goes, you know what this song's about, right? I'm like, no. And then he'll tell me, and I'm like, wait, what? All right. Well, okay.
Yeah, you don't even realize, right? So things like this, that when you teach them how to see pain, how to remove themselves from their own pain, and not to catch the pain of others. When you teach them that, it's game over. For them, it's so easy to go through life. I asked him to read a book about success from one of my mentors, and explains there, how the childhood system works with blame and shame and guilt and all these emotions. And my son is like, I don't understand anything. It's like, let me explain you my life. And I just explained what, we talked about right now. Oh, now I get it. He totally forgot since the age of 8.5, 9 until 14, but he was set up totally different just 5 years ago.
Yeah.
It just wiped off the brain. And for him, happiness is normal.
Good.
For me, it's like, wow, I am so happy that you consider happiness normal, because I have so many clients that don't even know that happiness exists and it's possible. I didn't know it exists. When I embarked on this journey to get out of depression, I never thought I'm going to ever be happy. I said, I just don't want to be suicidal. I don't want to be sick anymore. Yeah. I don't want to be free anymore. Forget about happiness. What's that? That's in the movies, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Movies and fairy tales.
Exactly. But it is possible, and it's amazing.
Okay. So you noticed the anger, the withdrawn in your son. And then, so what did you do? What was your steps as a parent? Because I really think that it's important for the parents watching and listening right now to know if they're noticing these signs, they're noticing their kid is being angry for, no reason really, or they're starting to be super withdrawn. And a big thing is that behavior change. If you're noticing that your kid went from, this behavior to all of a sudden something else, that's an indication something happened.
Yeah. And
so what did you do?
I actually didn't do anything. That's the most extraordinary thing. That's why I teach parents. I teach parents what to do, how to change everything, and the energy of a child just disappears. Okay. So as you heal the entire you, okay, the child doesn't need to save you anymore. So I actually help parents to heal their repressed anger and anxiousness and depression. And the child only needs the permission that this is possible. Very little techniques we do with a child. If I have to talk to a suicidal child, because this is why we reprogrammed and we rescheduled this podcast, because I had to travel.
Yes.
I usually take between 14 minutes and an hour. And the child understands way better than the parent exactly what they need to do. Okay.
I think kids are more open than adults.
Yeah, exactly. So all I ask them is like, do you want to get rid of this pain? Okay, let's do this now. And then let's embark on a learning skills. I don't do coping skills.
Okay.
I totally disagree with that, because you don't want to build resilience and coping. Sooner or later, that will explode inside you in a way of an illness or whatever. I do fully removal of pain and filling it up with skills. So we work with 4 energies. We have a workshop specifically for parents. It's free, by the way. We work with 4 energies, and we call them water, fire, air, and earth, just so it will be easier to talk about, because everybody did it right, not because of any other reasons. So people with water are in the ones that keep depression inside them, because water holds the DNA of the world. We're all made of water, and it's easy to take that pain, because the DNA of the world is filled up with pain for the last thousands of years, right?
Yeah.
And then when you see them anxious or angry, that means they move into the fire element, right? That's their fuel of life. Where most parents here confuse it with puberty. Oh, it's puberty and it's just going to go away. It's like, this is the actual mechanism, but if you don't turn it the right way, it's when the kid is going to get haywired. Okay, from here, everything starts. From this anger and anxiousness, if it's not resolved right now, you're going to have a depressed child, suicidal child, child with anxiety, toxic person, negative person, whatever comes up from here, you know, if it's not turned properly, they'll use it the wrong way.
Okay.
Does it make sense?
Yeah.
And then they have to, you use this particular fire to propel them towards the air, which is independence, which is I can accomplish anything I want. A child that sits in depression, angry and anxious, they cannot. Every parent knows, every adult in depression knows, they have a tremendous potential inside them. They just don't know how to unlock it. So here we unlock it at the anger and anxiousness part, and that's it. It's unlocked. Have a nice day.
Okay.
And then when you are independent, you know exactly what you want. You find your purpose in life. You love what you do. It's very easy to step into the consistency level, which is earth level. But what most people do is they, instead of going through all this cycle of life, right? Water, fire, air, and earth, they go to the shortcut, water to earth, depression 100%.
Yeah.
Or they water and fire. When they go water and fire, they're anxious, they're angry, and most people that I've seen that they sit too much in the water and fire, they're in addictions. They're either alcoholics or drug addicts, or because they want to do something, but they don't know what.
Okay.
Right? Stuck there, right? So here is how we teach them how to move through this cycle of life properly, how to unlock each mechanism, unlock it into the power and the strength of the element, not in the shadow and the pain of the element. So this is what we do for adults and for kids.
Very interesting. So on that very interesting note, where do people find more information about you, about what you do?
So I have my website, lennyr.com, but nobody knows how to spell it. So,
that's why I put the link down below in the description.
Yeah. I have a better website where it's called betteraskana with one n.com. Okay. On that website, we have free classes for parents with difficult teenagers. We have free classes for adults that are looking for healthy relationships, because you'll be surprised, without healthy relationships to start their life with, many people end up depressed.
Yeah.
Okay. We also have a service. It's a free service where you can ask me one question, and in a couple of weeks, I will send you a short video or audio with the answer for free. Before you start making all kind of mistakes in life. And we even have 4 major mistakes that people do without asking somebody. They ask people that are broken and they don't know how to fix things, and then they take their advice and then they end up depressed. Okay. All right. And we also have a specific link for adults and for parents with depressed children already. We have 2 free courses. Depending on the age, you can take it all. Everything on that website, betteraskana with one n.com, is free.
Good.
Courses, workshops, asking me a question, everything is absolutely for free, because we need to raise awareness that this is possible. Therapy has failed us for the last 20 years. And trust me, I was a psychologist. I know exactly what it is, right? You can't stay on a robot side meds for the rest of your life and be afraid that your kid didn't take the meds. Okay? You can't do it like this for the rest of their life. You want you and your child to be happy. So this is why we have workshops for free for parents, for adults, courses for free for parents and adults. Plus that one question, don't make mistakes in life, better ask for the right advice than get depressed after.
Very true. And where do people follow you? Are you on social media?
Yes, I'm on social media. We're so busy, we can't keep up with everything. We keep hiring people.
Yeah.
We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on YouTube. We're on LinkedIn. I used to be on Clubhouse. I just don't have time to. Yeah.
I know, me too. Everybody was like, when Clubhouse first came out, they're like, you have to. So I went and I got a cheap iPhone because it was only on iPhone at the time.
Mhm.
And I liked it. It's not that I didn't like it, but it's time consuming to be on
Yes.
there. And I don't know. I like to just read stuff instead of having to listen to it sometimes. So
Yeah, and there is no amount of talk or no amount of books, because we talked about the fact why I didn't write the book to get people out of depression. That will get you out there, out of depression, out of anxiety. Anxiety is also a symptom of depression. Action will take you out, and the right guided action. Okay, so we can talk people to death. Okay, if they don't know what steps to take, in which order, they cannot get out. It's very simple. And we're concentrating a lot on preventing depression because it takes 3 to 5 months to overcome it. And it's a very rigorous program where I don't take people that are skipping steps, which depressed people love to skip steps. Right?
Well, step, we just want to go straight to the end goal.
Exactly. Well, it doesn't work that way. That's why you're depressed. Okay. Because you don't enjoy life. You don't know how to go through it.
Okay.
Right? You just want to end it. They're like, hold on, our journey is wonderful, right? But we don't know that, right?
Yeah.
So here is we're working on a lot of skills even to prevent people from getting there, because it's important. It takes 6 weeks to prevent depression, and it takes up to 6 months to overcome depression. Which one would you like? You want it faster? Prevent it, right? But if you get there, we have the entire solution. And in those 2 courses for free, I actually explain the entire formula to follow. You want to get yourself out of depression, go through the entire formula. It's just an hour and 20 minutes or something. So just go through the video. You have the whole formula. Just do it. Just get the hell out of it.
I like that. So on that note, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you, Randy.
So of course, those links that Anna was talking about will be down in the description below. What I love about this show is that I get to talk to so many different people with so many different and varying views on the topic of mental health. So you can pick what you think is going to work for you. So, I mean, it's amazing to be able to talk to all of these different people, get all of this different information. If you want to support the show, check out our merch store. This is my favorite one. You've definitely seen it before if you've watched any other, been with the show for a long time. Sorry, I'm busy ending the stigma. And that's the little mental health green ribbon there. So we have lots of other cool designs on there. So check it out. 10% of the proceeds goes back to the Canadian Mental Health Association. And remember, the only way to end the stigma of mental health is to speak openly and honestly. Bye.